Not too many. Okay, quiet, please. We're going to go ahead. Quiet and. Okay. If you remember, we did a lesson from this unit in order to delay our test before the break. So that the test could be the last thing. And it was a kind of a trivial lesson. You know, it was, we're going to use slope-intercept form, but in every case, they gave us the y-intercept, right? In this lesson, we're doing pretty much the same thing, which we're going to come up with the slope-intercept equation of a line given the 2 points, but the 1 point may not be the y-intercept. I mean, how do you recognize a point as the y-intercept? If you see a point, an x comma y, right, how do you know it's the y-intercept you're looking at? Because the x-coordinate equals 0, right? When on the y-axis, x equals 0. So in the first lesson, 5.1, every time we had 0 comma something. Okay, now we won't. And so we did that. We're going to do it again. So there's not really many ways we deal with this, but the first way is if you're given the slope and a point, then you ought to be able to come up with the equation of a line that passes through the point using only y equals mx plus b. Okay, so in this case it says write the slope-intercept equation of a line that passes through the point, -1, 3, and has a slope of -4. So this is what we know. And hopefully I can get this done. That's good. So we know we're using y equals mx plus b. Now I can plug in one thing right away. What is that? The slope, right? They did tell us the slope, so we don't have to figure that one out. That one is y equals -4x plus b. Okay, now we need to know the b. In order to have the slope-intercept equation of the line, we need to know the b. Okay, the process for doing that is, since they gave you the point that is one xy coordinate point, so you know the x and the y values go together, plug them in for x and y. Right, so substitute -1 is going to go here, and the 3 is going to go here. So that'll look like 3 equals -4 times -1 plus b. 3 equals 4 plus b. Solve for b. Subtract 4. -1 equals b. So now I'm going to go back up here, and in place of b, put a -1. Y equals -4x minus 1. All right, so you start by plugging the slope because you know it, and then use the x and y, to substitute for x and y, and solve for the b. And then once you've got the b, you plug it in. There's the slope, there's the b. Right? Why can't I just plug in 3 for b? Because x is not 0, that's not the y-intercept. Right? You can only do that if the x is 0, then you know you've got the y-intercept and you plug it in. And sometimes it'll be that way. And you could still plug it in, you know, and see what you get, but actually you'll already have the y-intercept. So do you understand the two-step process? Plug in for the slope, then solve for the b by using the point. So my guess is you're going to get a U try after this. Since I'm so unoriginal. Go ahead and try to use this one. It's the point is 6.3 and the slope is 2. Right. So start with the form, the slope-intercept form. Plug in what you know, right? And then plug in the point so that you can solve for the b. And then now you know both the slope and the y-intercept, so just put the y-intercept there. But remember, it's got to be y and x in the final equation. Now, a lot of times, you're not going to get the slope and a point. It's going to be that you actually get 2 points. That's the next iteration in this process. So I want to write the slope-intercept form of a line. I don't know what the slope is, but I know what 2 points are. Okay, so I'm going to start with our mx plus b. Since I don't know what the slope is, what should I do first? Find the slope. If you've got 2 points, you can find the slope, right? So do that first. If you don't know what the slope is, that's got to be your first job. Find the slope. So the m is -1 minus 5 over 2 minus -2, which is -6 over 4, which is -3 halves. So I can plug that in for the m just like we did on the last one. Let's put in -3 halves x plus b. Okay, now what did we do at this point on the last slide?
Can you pick any point?
Right, on the last slide we had 1 point and we plugged it in for x and y and we solved for the b. But now we've got 2 points. What to do?
Pick one.
You pick one. It doesn't matter which one you use. Just pick one. We'll use both and show that you're going to get the same value for b no matter what you do, which makes sense. I mean, these 2 points determine one line. It shouldn't matter which point we use, and it doesn't. So if I use the first point, -2, it goes 5 equals -2. I don't want that. I should do it in the same order. -3 halves times -2 plus b. 5 equals 3 plus b. b equals 2. Notice how the negative times negative makes positive. The 2 in the denominator cancels the 2 in the numerator. So all that's left is 3. Okay, now if I use the other point, then it'll look like this. It'll look like -1 equals -3 halves times +2 plus b. So -1 equals -3 plus b. Add 3 to both sides. 2 equals b. So now we know the slope and we know the y-intercept. Just plug in. Y equals -3 halves x plus 2. Okay. So if you have 2 points, calculate the slope, then use the slope in 1 point, doesn't matter which one, to find b. So try that with this one. There's your 2 points. Find the line. Right? The m calculation should have been 4 minus -2 divided by -5 minus 1, which is +6 over -6, which is -1. Right? That should be the simple first step. Okay, then what do I do with that? Yeah, I'm going to start with y equals mx plus b I'm going to plug in using one of those 2 points. Does it matter which point? No. So probably I use the one that has lower values. So I'll put -2 equals -1 for slope. X is 1 plus b. Right, so that was this point. -2 equals -1 plus b. Add 1, add 1, b equals -1. So now we know the m and we know the b, so we write our equation. Y equals -1x minus 1, which usually you wouldn't write that. You would write it like -x minus 1. There's no reason to write a 1 for multiplying. Okay, so if you get 2 points, calculate the slope first. If you have the slope already, then you still go through the same process. Now, again, this is where they keep using this function notation, and we just have to learn how to use this. It is important. What is the xy point that they're trying to tell me if they tell me that f of 4 equals 9? 4, 9, right? So if you're confused by looking at it like that, then write the points that they are first, and then do what we did on the last slide. Like this one here, this point would have been 4, 9, and this point would have been -4, -7, right? That's what it means when you say f of a number equals a number, right? It's just telling you a point on the graph. Okay, so now we'll do what we did, right? Find the slope. -7 minus 9 divided by -4 minus 4, which is -16 minus over -8, which is 2. And then use one of these 2 points. Which point do you think you'd like to use? 4, 9 or -4, -7? Yeah, keep it positive if you can. There's probably less room for error. So if I start with y equals mx plus b, I'm going to put in 9 equals 2 times 4 plus b. 9 equals 8 plus b. b equals 1. So here's our line. Y equals 2x plus 1. How could you check to make sure that's true?
Plug the 1 in for B.
You can plug in the points and see whether you get a true statement, right? 2 times 4 plus 1 is 9. 2 times -4 is -8, plus 1, -7. So that's the line. You should be able to just plug in the points and see which ones work. You good, Portia? Okay. So there's your turn. Turn those 2 function notation into points and then find the line. Did we get that far? Get a slope of -2? What's the b? Katie? 6? How many got 6 for the... Then it must be right. So B is 6. So, okay, you're not done though until you write it. -2x plus 6. Again, you could check it, plug it in. -2 times -2 is +4 plus 6 is 10. -2 times 4 is -8 plus 6 is -2. So they work. Good? Okay. I think I got 2 more. One of which is the problem that you did at the beginning. But this is, let's see how they would have expected us to set it up. In BMX racing, racers purchase a 1-year membership to a track. Then they pay an entry fee for each race at the track. Quiet, please. What's that? One racer paid a total of $125 after 5 races, and a second racer paid $170 after 8 races. How much does a track membership cost? Okay, so whenever, yeah. I didn't hear you. What's that? What did you say? 15 or 50? 50? Okay. Well, we're going to set it up. What are the variables here? I mean, what is going to, let's say we have an X and a Y. What is the X going to represent and what is the Y going to represent? I mean, what are we talking in terms of here? What are we trying to measure or add up? Cost, right? In some ways, we're trying to figure out cost. And the cost is going to be made up of 2 different parts, right? There's going to be the 1-year membership to the track. And then there's going to be this is how much you pay for every race, right? So what will X represent in this case? The number of races, right? So usually when you do a word problem, you might start by saying X equals the number of races. Y equals the total cost. And that's going to tell us that there is understanding what we just did in this whole lesson. Y equals mx plus b is there's going to be some kind of a linear equation, and then we're supposed to try to figure out what's the m and what's the b. Well, what have they given us by telling us how much they paid after 5 races and how much they paid after 8 races? They kind of just gave us 2 points, right? We know that there's going to be the point, if it cost $125 after 5 races, that means that the XY equals 5, $125. And if it costs $170 after 8 races, that's 8, $170. So now we need to find the M and the B. If you know 2 points, find the M and the B, right? So that, how are we going to find the M? Solve, right? Or plug in with your 2 points. In this case, M equals 170 minus 125 divided by 8 minus 5. What's 170 minus 125? 45 divided by 3. And so M equals 15. Okay, and then to find the b, we need to plug that in with one of our points. So let's say I start with this point. I've got 125 equals 15 times 5 plus b. So 125 equals 75 plus b. B equals 50. So the equation is y equals 15x plus 50, right? The 15 is, that's how much you're paying for every race. The 50 is, it must be that. That was the upfront cost. That didn't depend on how many races. It was just an upfront cost. Like I said, you figured out most of this without using anything that we did in the class today, right? But that is the way you would figure that out. I didn't think most did. Okay, let's try another one which is similar. Oh my gosh, words. Oh my gosh. Your gym membership costs $33 per month. See, I'm doing the reading for you. After an initial membership fee, you paid $228 after 6 months. Write an equation that gives you the total cost of a function, total cost as a function of the length of your gym membership in months. And then find how much does it cost after 9 months. Yeah. What's the equation for the cost? What's the one, remember that just like on the last problem, if we have y equals mx plus b, right, the b is the fixed cost, the thing that doesn't change for how many months that you're in there. What is that? The b, well, actually, we don't know that yet, do we? What the m is, how much are you paying per month, right? The x is going to be the number of months. The m is the number how much you pay per month. So actually, what have they given us here? They've given us the slope with 33, and they've given us 1 point, which is after 6 months, it's 228. Yeah. What do you get? How much? 30. Okay. Let's see. So let's see. The m in this. Let's say x is the number of months. Right. The y is the cost. Right. In this case, the m is $33, and we know 1 point, which is xy equals 6, 228. So what do we need to find out? We need to find out the b. How do you find out the b when you know the slope and 1 point? Suf? You're going to say? So plug it in. And in this case, they didn't just ask you for the answer. They said, write the equation. So actually, we need to write this equation. So I'm going to plug in 228 equals 33 times 6 plus b. Right? 228 equals 198 plus b. So what does b equal? Get out your calculator. 228 minus 198, 30. So here's our equation. Y equals 33x plus 30. Okay, now that's the first part of the question. Write an equation. That's the equation. Okay, now it says find the total cost after 9 months. How would you do that? Using our equation, how do you find the cost after 9 months? Put in x equals 9. Right? This is like saying find f of 9. Put in x equals 9. 9 times 33, 297. 297 plus 30, which is 327. That's it. Oh my gosh, what a relief. Yes, there's a homework slide. And there is the homework.